Okay, well, welcome to the October 4th Public Council meeting of the Town of Conception Bay South. Another beautiful day here in CBS. I want to start out this evening, as always, with our land acknowledgement. The Town of Conception Bay South would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. We also respectfully acknowledge Labrador as the traditional ancestral homelands of the Innu of Nitassinan, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, and the Inuit of Nunatuavut. We strive for respectful partnerships with all the peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. Okay, moving into the business of this evening, adoption of the agendas and minutes. Someone want to move tonight's agenda? Councillor Connor, seconded by Councillor Hillier. Adoption of the meeting minutes of September 20th, the last meeting, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Deputy Mayor Goss. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried. Business arising from previous minutes will be dealt with through this meeting and upcoming meetings, as always. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. So this evening we have some proclamations. And the first one, we're going to start off with Councillor Melissa Hardy with a proclamation for Disability Employment Awareness Month. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Be it known to all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, Disability Employment Awareness Month, DEEM, will be an annual awareness campaign which occurs each October throughout Canada. The purpose of Disability Employment Awareness Month is to recognize and celebrate the many and varied contributions of workers with disabilities. DEEM will also recognize the leadership of inclusive employers who promote employment inclusion and educate Newfoundlanders and Labradorians about disability employment issues and the benefits of inclusion to all its citizens. Whereas a strong workforce is one, inclusive of skills and talents of all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Whereas Newfoundlanders and Labradorians with disabilities constitute a growing population and experience issues which require positive change, including disproportionate unemployment, poverty, and labor market exclusion. Whereas the employment and inclusion of people with disabilities benefits all our citizens. Whereas the awareness of said benefits and innumerable success stories of employment inclusion serve to positively promote inclusion of persons with disabilities in the provincial workforce. And whereas the Town of Conception Bay South is committed in our work to increase employment inclusion for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians through the provision of leadership, resources, and ongoing opportunities for dialogue and engagement. Now, therefore, I, Councillor Melissa Hardy, hereby proclaim the month of October in perpetuity as Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Next, we have a proclamation for World Breastfeeding Week. Councillor Shelley Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. World Breastfeeding Week, October 1st to 7th, 2022. Whereas breastfeeding is recommended for optimal nutrition and healthy growth and development in the early months and years of life and is fundamental to the well-being and prosperity of communities. And whereas breastfeeding has an impact on lifelong health with exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months and continued breastfeeding for 2 years and beyond, ensuring that mothers and children receive maximum health benefits. And whereas breastfeeding is one of the most cost-effective prevention strategies for many infections and chronic acute diseases. And whereas infant feeding is one of the most important decisions that a newly family makes. And whereas parents need the support of family, friends, regional health authorities, peer-to-peer support groups, municipalities, community groups, and organizations, businesses, and employers. And whereas World Breastfeeding Week provides an opportunity for people to celebrate and to raise public awareness about the importance of breastfeeding and the role everyone can play in normalizing breastfeeding. And whereas the theme for World Breastfeeding Week 2022 in Newfoundland and Labrador is Step Up for the Breastfeeding, Educate, and Support. It focuses on raising awareness of the value of breastfeeding and elevate it to the level of a public health obligation by encouraging organizations and countries to develop measures to safeguard breastfeeding. Therefore, I, Shelley Moores, Ward 1 Councillor, proclaim October 1st to 7th, 2022 World Breastfeeding Week in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. Next, we have Fire Prevention Week 2022, and I want to call upon some members who are with us of our CBS Fire Department to come on up and join me here at the head table, as it were. We have 5 members of the department with us, and we have the distinguished member, Sparky, who will be with us as well. Morning, Sparky. All right. So, okay, so Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the town of Conception Bay South is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our town. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk of fire. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of a fire in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Conception Bay South residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarms and knows how to respond. And whereas Conception Bay South residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Conception Bay South residents will make sure their smoke and CO alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Conception Bay South first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Conception Bay South residents are responsive to public education measures, are better able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2022 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, effectively serves to remind us it is important to have a home fire escape plan. Therefore, I, Darren Bent, Mayor of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim October 9th through 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the town. And I urge all the people of Conception Bay South to plan and practice a fire escape for Fire Prevention Week 2022 and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Conception Bay South Fire Department. Anyways, I want to thank members of the fire department for joining me here this evening. Fire safety is paramount, and it's one of the great things we get from having a full-time fire department. Our ability to educate and inform our residents and to be proactive when it comes to education throughout the community so people can be fire safe, and fire won't wait, plan your escape. Very good advice. So I want to thank the members of the CBS Fire Department. Thank you, Sparky, for coming down here this evening and for all the work that you do throughout our community to help make our residents as safe as possible when it comes to fire. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. There. Thank you, guys. Which one? Yep, sure. Okay, you want to call up? Yep, so I understand now that we have someone here with regards to the disability employment proclamation. And did you want to come forward and, yep, come on up. Excellent, excellent. Okay, would you like to say a few words? Sure. Yeah, so I'm going to give you the microphone. And you tell us who you are and.
Hi, I'm Shelley Andrews with Avalon Employment. I'm an employment counselor for individuals with intellectual disabilities and on the autism spectrum. We recognize inclusive employers throughout the community and our province during the month of October, 31 days of DEEM. It's a national initiative through Canadian Association of Support Employment. So there are 22 support employment agencies throughout the province. And Avalon Employment is situated in St. John's. We have Veriplean and Visions in Mount Pearl. So this is an opportunity to recognize inclusive employers, to bring more awareness to the community that they, people with disabilities have many talents and skills to contribute in our community. And we want our community to reflect those individuals as well. So you'll see throughout Conception Bay South, many individuals that are working at our local businesses, including Shoppers Drug Marts, Sobeys, Dominions, and that. And we want to continue that message, and that there's still a lot of work to be done, but we're making gains, and we want to continue that momentum. So I thank you, Mayor Bent and councillors, for giving me the opportunity to come out and celebrate Disability Employment Awareness Month.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Sorry we missed you earlier. But maybe if you took one of them T-shirts and went down to Councillor Hardy,
Yes.
who read the proclamation this evening. Yep, thank you very much.
And there's some bling there that you can share with all your colleagues.
Excellent. And maybe Maggie, we can get a picture with Councillor Hardy and with these. Yeah, there we go. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Moving into the new business section of the meeting this evening. we're
Excuse your
gonna-
worship.
Yo,
before we move
sorry,
into
yes.
New business, I've got a report.
Councillor Hillier, you
Just
have
a-
something to table here today.
Yes, your worship, if you remember back on September 26th, 2022, we held public hearings on Conception Bay Amendment number 42-2022. That's a rezoning at 1287, 1295 Conception Bay Highway in the area of Hopewell Gardens. We had a development there with a perceived wetland that province came out and said to us, really, this is not a wetland, and we held public hearing with Mr. Jepchak back at that point in time. We've since received his report, so I'll table that this evening. That'll go on our website for public to peruse, and this will be one of the documents that council will use in making the decision going forward as to whether or not we will ultimately rezone that piece of property.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Well, you're on your way. There we go. Perfect. Okay, moving along to new business, and this evening we're going to start with Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I got just a couple of things here. I wanted to speak to first, Youth Advisory Council. I sit on this committee as council's representative, and we are regrouping and gathering new council together after the last couple of years with the pandemic. This committee has been kind of quiet. It hasn't been much happening, so we're ready to get going again. And so we're looking for applicants. We're looking for youth. We're looking for engaged individuals between the ages of 13 and 24 who would like to lead and get involved in helping the community. So why join? Have your opinions heard and represent our local youth. Support various activities, programs, and fundraising efforts throughout Conception Bay South. Earn valuable volunteer work experiences, meet new people, and expand your networks. So the application deadline for the 2022-2023 Youth Advisory Committee is Tuesday, October 11th at 4 p.m. and you can apply online on our website. So I encourage any youth to apply and give this a try. And I will be part of this committee, and I look forward to sitting on this and seeing where we can take things as we go forward. So the next item that I'm bringing forward this evening is it's a pretty nice gesture on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South. Over the last number of years, we have seen firsthand costly impacts of climate change through snowmageddon, significant storm surges, windstorms, and widespread power outages. Most recently, we've seen the heartbreaking damage caused by Hurricane Fiona on the residents of Newfoundland and Labrador, and more particularly, the community of Port aux Basques. The scale of this storm was unprecedented in this province, and the magnitude of the damage was severe. We offer our thoughts to all those impacted. But Council knows that sometimes we need more than kind thoughts. With this in mind, Council will be donating $5,000 to the Canadian Red Cross to help with relief efforts, which, as we know, the Government of Canada will match these dollars, will match dollar for dollar. So that will bring that to $10,000. So that's it for me this evening, Mayor Ben. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Goss, and it's fantastic to be able to reach out that way and offer that kind of support for the residents. Every little bit helps in a situation like this, I can assure you. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. I'm only going to briefly talk about the dedication ceremony because I believe Councillor Moores is going to talk to it in greater detail. I attended on Sunday with yourself and Councillor Barrett, and couldn't be more proud of our military folks who served in Afghanistan, and even prouder as residents of CBS that we had a dedication ceremony for that LAV-3 military vehicle. And you know, on a personal note, Mayor Bent, you were there, and Carl Strong gave a moving speech. I've happened to know Carl ever since he was a little boy, and of course, even more personally for me, I had a brother who served in Afghanistan as well. So, such a proud moment for residents of CBS, and I encourage everyone to come down and have a little look at the military vehicles there and the dedication plaque. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, just want to take a moment this evening to recognize Mr. Jeffrey Locke of Holy Spirit School Manuals. Mr. Locke has been named as a recipient of the 2022 Prime Minister's Award and is officially a recipient of the Regional Certificate of Achievement for Teaching Excellence in STEM, science, technology, education, and mathematics. Way to go, Mr. Locke. And obviously, we've got teachers of that caliber teaching in all of our 9 schools here in the community, and I want to congratulate each and every one of those and wish them luck, obviously, as the new year moves forward. So congratulations, Mr. Locke.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Very distinguished award and well deserved. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a smidgen of good news tonight, not a whole lot tonight, but it's a really good one. Conception Bay South is a nature lover's paradise, and we know how important it is to live sustainably. From enhancing the urban forest and piloting green infrastructure to developing climate action plans and working with the community to implement them, the town has made strides to enhance our sustainability and to make a better future for the next generation. Today, I'm excited to announce the launch of our Sustainability Hub. The Hub is an online platform built to help our community become more resilient to future impacts of climate change, to help increase sustainable business practices and collaborations, to celebrate sustainable actions taken by residents and businesses, and to engage and mobilize the community to facilitate smart, targeted action on climate change. We encourage residents and business owners to check out the Hub and take a look at some of the resources. Fill out the Community Engagement Climate Survey and let us know what climate actions you feel are the highest priority. Report a sustainable business practice in the community, and they might be featured as the next sustainable story. The Sustainability Hub is intended to be interactive and can be accessed from the town's website by clicking Explore-Sustainable CBS. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I have what I think is great news for the town tonight. Tonight, I'm very pleased, extremely pleased to be honest, to advise that the town has submitted a Crown Land application, a license to occupy for an ATV route for the Seal Cove staging area to the Legion Road in Kellarose. This is something that we have been working on for quite some time. Land ownership has always been the biggest challenge and hurdle for the development of the trail, but we have finally identified a trail that we can use and work with. Through the work of the committee and the staff, we have a route identified and the application has been submitted to Crown Land. The application has been registered and referrals have been sent out to the applicable departments and agencies for review. The information has been placed on our ATV page and the town's website. And there is also a link available to the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador Land Use Atlas, which has further information. If anyone is interested in providing any commentary, and I highly encourage people to do so to the Crown Lands regarding the application, the email address can be found on the town's ATV site as well. This is significant for the development of the long-awaited ATV trail. I want the responsible ATV users of Conception Bay South and residents to know that we are making progress on the trail. There has been issues and challenges with land, but the Crown Land application is a huge step forward. We will keep residents updated as the application progresses through the various departments and agencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. And just explain to me, so it's a Legion Road to the staging area? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that would be along the trailway?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, be clear on that.
That'll be on the south side of Route 60. Going up through, we'll be using pole lines, some existing trails that are already on Crown Land, the ends of some roads, and other areas that we will be using. But it will go on back and on the south side of Route 60, has to go through a little bit of Holy Road.
Yep.
And then down through the power line, going down to the generating station and back to the Sealcoast staging area.
Yeah, and that's significant because it gets us up over the other side and over onto the south side of the highway as well. So good work there, and hopefully we'll get a positive response back from the Crown Lands on that one. Thank you, Councillor Connors. Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. First of all, I'd just like to mention something from the Recreation and Leisure Services Department. We will be implementing an insurance policy program to help ensure all user groups are able to carry the appropriate coverage when using town facilities. There will be slight adjustments to some of the existing rates and fees for applicable users, but we'll keep all costs to a minimum. And like Councillor Tilley just said, the town hosted the dedication ceremony for the Lab 3 monument this past weekend as a tribute to all those who served for Canada and Afghanistan. The ceremony guests included Her Honor, the Honorable Judy Foote, Lieutenant Governor of Newfoundland Labrador, Senator Elizabeth Marshall, Brigadier General Stéphane Masson, Commodore 5th Canadian Division, Lieutenant Colonel Kyle Strong, Kathleen Pratt-Legros, and many other invited guests and representatives of the Canadian Armed Forces, veterans, and their family members. I unfortunately was unable to attend, but the ceremony was very well attended and was a very fitting dedication for the monument. So we thank everyone that did attend. Thank you, Mayor Bent.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just a couple of things from Ward 4 this evening. I did receive a few calls and emails from residents this week on traffic calming concerns in the area. So just really want to remind residents of obey the appropriate speed limits on the side roads on Route 60, but also in the school zones, because I have certainly seen an increase in people going above the 30 limit speed zone that has been implemented in all the school zones. So just want to remind residents of that. And I was also recently speaking with a local family doctor in the area in the family medicine group. And they've actually been doing a tally, and there's actually been 51 family practitioners and general practitioners from the family medicine side that has left the province in 2021, 2022, who have either retired or left. So, she's certainly getting concerned as a family practitioner in the CBS location. And she just wanted us to certainly be aware of that. And I certainly let her know. We've already spoke to some of the MHAs and we spoke to Ken McDonald on that. So just wanted to certainly put that out there. We've heard them there's, we're certainly got it out there to the MHAs, and hopefully with the government announcement today, that would alleviate some of the concerns to residents. And the last thing I would just like to do, send out a best wishes on a healthy birth delivery for our fellow counselor, Josh Barrett's wife Kelsey, and daughter Layla on baby girl number 2. Hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll certainly hear the good news. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. And yes, we all have our best wishes for Councillor Barrett, his family. This evening, he's not with us because he has more important things to attend to. But anyways, we're looking forward to that arrival. I just want to speak just for a moment on something that the deputy mayor brought forward. And of course, Hurricane Fiona has devastated parts of our southwest coast. I have a brother just outside of Truro who just got his power back today for the first time in 11 days. It's having a profound effect in different levels for a lot of people, in our province, in the Maritimes as well. And of course, it has everybody, concerned, and rightly so. And I can say this for the people of Conception Bay South, that our town last year engaged CBCL Engineering to do a comprehensive coastal assessment of our Bereshaw, so that we would have a handle on its situation and have a good idea of what would need to be done going forward. They began their work prior to the hurricane season last year. They've had instruments gauging different things throughout the winter and right up until most recently. They gauge, lengths and forces of wind speeds, currents at key locations. In the interim, I also want to say that the LPHA and the town works closely with them, of course, as everyone knows. They're completing repairs to their portion of the breakwater as we speak, and hoping to have that work done soon. But their engineer for that project, who is also the town's external consultant for our Bereshaw, brought it to our attention potential concerns of a section of the breakwater, our Bereshaw, that is approximately 60 meters in length. And I just want to say this evening that action on this issue will be coming soon. Town is aware of it. And of course, we're looking forward to the findings of CBCL. And we're hoping to have them this fall so that we can have a good look at them and we can see where we are for the future. I just want to bring up, I know a couple of people spoke to it already, but I have to speak about the Lab 3 dedication ceremony just for a moment. It was a fantastic ceremony. I was there, Councillors Tilley and Barrett were there as well. And Councillor Moore's outlined pretty well everyone else that was there. But I just want to thank the committee, the dedication committee, Kathy LeGros, Wayne Miller and Woodrow French for the work that they did to make that happen. And of course, a special thank you to Lieutenant Governor Judy Foote and his honor, Howard Foote, and have Brigadier General Stéphane Masson, the commander of the 5th Canadian Division, on hand for the ceremony. Was fantastic. And all who took part. Family and friends of the 11, some of the 11 Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who lost their lives were there. But it was an Afghanistan veteran mentioned by Councillor Tilley, Kyle Strong of CBS, who put it all in perspective for all of us who were there, pointing out that the Lab 3 was not for him a symbol of war and weaponry for him and other veterans, but it was considered a safe haven at the end of a long day in the desert. It was a symbol of being able to return to their base for further safety. And he referred to it as their home away from home on long missions in the desert. And he said when he looked at it, it strengthened, dear memories of his friends, and some of them, unfortunately, didn't get to come home. It was an emotional ceremony. I'm emotional now talking about it, to be honest with you, but I just want to say that I was very proud to be there as mayor at this dedication with all the service people, all the veterans that were there from the Afghanistan, and all of our service people that attended, and especially the families of those who lost loved ones in Afghanistan. And I believe it's a suitable and fitting tribute to the efforts and our support and our long storied support here in the town of Conception Bay South for our military in this province. So thank you to everyone that was there at that service. I just want to touch on one other thing before we go too much further. And I know that I'll have the people be able to pick me apart on this one, and that's fine. I'll stick my neck out on it. But tomorrow, I believe, marks the 1-year anniversary of the swearing in of this council. And the year just went, right? Gone. So here we are. But I just wanted to note a few things that have happened over the last 12 months with the support of this council that I believe are positive things for our community, and an absolute solid foundation going forward of a culture of safety and progress. And I'll start off with and you know what? I didn't ask for anybody to put this. I jotted this down this afternoon, so I'm sure I'm leaving out lots of good stuff. But 30-kilometer-hour speed limit in our school zones, something that was long overdue, happened this fall. Pedestrian activated lights at Perrins Road and Easton's Road for the safety of our residents. The community park is now in its final stages, and we've been overseeing that project throughout the year. The library is near completion. Sure, if you drive by today, other than the excavators out front of the place doing the outside garden, you wouldn't know it wasn't finished. But it's very close. So that's great to see. We have become one of the most transparent in our discussions as a council by opening up all of our committee minutes and putting them on our website. Very proud of that. Approved a new tire recycling facility that will bring in jobs and tax revenue at the top of Fowler's Road. A great step forward in our commercial revenue. We have restarted water and sewer installations for the people that are on that long list. That's welcome news, I'm sure. We held the line on property taxes, and we cut red tape for our seniors applying for property tax discounts. They no longer have to prove that they are seniors when they try to get that discount. This council changed that as soon as it got in. At the same time, we're not charging residents for permits or doing upgrades to their properties again this year. We added a policy to allow for street signage for individuals with special needs like hearing impairment to make our community safer for those families. And people can apply for that on our website to get signage on their street if they need it. We have done and are still doing this year an unprecedented amount of road rehabilitation. It's one of the biggest projects maybe in the history of the town happening this year. And for safety, we have a pilot project at Duns Hill Road at Route 60 that'll go through the winter now, and we'll see how that goes. We have set a new community center as a priority and identified the Gateway as its location. And now we are getting ready for year 2 and for another full budget session. And we will be seeking residents' views in a number of ways, both in person and through surveys on priorities for the coming year. And we look forward to unveiling those over the next few weeks. So, and we almost stole the growlers from St. John's when we first started. But anyway, I just wanted to go through a few of those highlights. And of course, if any counselor as we go through wants to jump in and add to it, they certainly can. But it's, I don't say it's too bad for the first year. It's a good start anyway. Hey. Recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, as always, Councillor Rex Hillier, Chair.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, before you start, I didn't realize I didn't attend the committee meeting. Number 2639 Topsail Road. I have a family member under conflict of interest guideline rules who resides on Andlorland Place, which is abuts that property. So I guess I'll have to declare a conflict.
Get one across the street too.
Make that too.
Councillor Tilly will go to the back of the room while we run through this recommendation.
Yes, your worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our last committee meeting.
I declared a conflict too on this item because of a family member rents to a quilt shop that's also in the community. Sorry about that.
Yes, your worship, number 12639 Topsail Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 10.12 and council's discretionary authority of section 10.7 of the town's development regulations, application number 2055 received on August 3rd, 2022 for a quilt shop business located at 2639 Topsail Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Moores, discussion.
Yes, your worship, we received a fair amount of response when we went out to look for advertising on this, look for comment on this. And most of it dealt with the unfair or the competition that would exist as a result of other quilt shops in the community. And that's really not something that we can get involved with. That's private enterprise. That's the basis of private enterprise. And so really those comments were not part of our decision-making process.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6B, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the town's fence regulations, revised application 2107 dated on August 20, 2022 for a front yard fence on the property of 176 Foxjob Access Road be approved. So move.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy, discussion. All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6C, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 12 and 26 of the town's fence regulations, application 2133 received on August 23rd, 2022 for a front yard fence on the property of 17 to 19 Dominic Drive be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors, discussion.
Yes, your worship, this is sort of a unique situation that we're putting a fence on the front of one of our playgrounds in a new development. And the reason why we're doing that is that the development is only half finished and we've got construction taking place in the neighborhood. So we want to make that new playground as safe as possible.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 6D, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 2203 dated September 12th, 2022 for a front yard fence on the property of 791 Conception Bay Highway be approved on condition that the existing chain link fence be removed and that the new fence be constructed no further than 18 meters ahead of the established building line on the property with a height not exceeding 1.2 meters. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Tilley, discussion.
Your worship, in this situation, we're just replacing an existing fence that needs some upgrading.
All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And finally, your worship, final fence motion, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 2147 received on August 30, 2022 for a front yard fence on the property of 5 Tampa Drive be refused as in consideration that it does not border a public walkway, does not constitute a retaining wall, does not delineate adjoining driveways, nor is there an established form of front yard fence along the street. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors, discussion.
Yes, your worship, in this case, obviously, we're recommending refusal. And if you notice the conditions under which we recommending refusal, those are the conditions under which we approved the previous 3 fence applications. In this case, they don't apply.
Further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
And finally, your worship, the final blanket resolution, be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on September 26, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion?
Yes, your worship, you can see some other issues that we dealt with at a committee meeting that obviously didn't require a motion to bring forward this evening.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Hillier.
Thank you very much, your worship.
I hope all these fence applications on the sign, our residents are starting,
Lots of good neighbors, sir.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
fences make good neighbors.
there you go. There you go. Okay. Next, we have recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee Chair, Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, worship. We just had the blanket recommendation from our committee meeting held on September 27th. Just to remind residents, obviously, we still got a lot of road construction ongoing throughout Conception Bay South, and we ask residents for their patience, and the end is near. So just a blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions being made on Tuesday, September 27, 2022 meeting will be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Moores. Discussion?
Yeah, your worship, just department projects is what I just talked about, some ongoing road work. And of course, we the water statistics, water is still good to drink here in CBS, as it always is. And of course, we're doing some preliminary work on our 2023 sidewalk and street upgrading program and paving projects.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Thank you, worship.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee Chair, Councillor Shelley Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. 8A, approval to call a request for proposals for advertising for the Conception Bay South Arena Score Clock. Be it so resolved that the town proceed to call a request for proposals for advertising for the Conception Bay Arena Score Clock. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion?
The current 5-year advertising agreement for the Conception Bay South Arena Score Clock has ended, and so staff are recommending to call for a new request for proposals.
All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
And
Councillor Moores, my employer is listed as one of the correspondence items in your next recommendation, so I will step to the back of the room.
Okay. So we just have the blanket statement now. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the, I guess, Deputy Mayor, you're gonna, okay, of the Recreation Leisure Service Committee of September 27th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
We have a seconder. Councillor Butler.
So you can just see here some of the things that we talked about, the insurance policy I mentioned. We also talked about different things that are going on at Worsley Park. And also, as a lot of people are aware, we have our 50th anniversary celebrations coming up. And myself and Councillor Tilley will be the council representatives on that committee. So those are just some of the things we discussed.
Do we have any further discussion? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and Mayor.
I'll bring back Mayor Bent.
Well, it's not only strange, it's cooler back there. I'm gonna take the microphone back there the next meeting and do it. Okay, recommendations of Financial and Administrative Services Committee Chair Deputy Mayor Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee. Our first item is the accounts payable checks. And be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $479,680 and 18 cents as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Hardy, discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item, the manual check register. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify manual checks totaling $116,285.17. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Morris, discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item is our capital invoice approval, which is the lofty approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $2,478,043.83 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Connors, discussion?
Mayor Bent, this is our ongoing capital works projects, library, community park, lift station upgrades, the coastal assessment, Long Pond breakwater report that's been ongoing. It's a payment there to CBCL. Steady Water Brook Culvert upgrade, our 2022 street upgrading, phase 48 of our water and sewer, 2022 water and sewer upgrades, and the Cronin's Head roof assessment. So lots going on, but it's, lots of work being done. So that all adds up to almost $2.5 million.
You want to play, you got to pay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item is the tax and other receivable adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as follows. There's two items there for two businesses that have closed, and there's just adjustments to their taxes so they can get their accounts cleared up. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Hardy, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item 9E, approval to call tender for fire department uniform clothing. Be it so resolved that approval be given to call a 3-year tender for the supply and delivery of uniform clothing for the staff of the Conception Bay South Fire Department. Funds are available in the account as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Hillier, discussion?
This is just standard as per the collective agreement that this goes to tender every 3 years.
Thank you. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
And our next item, 9F, is a change in meeting schedule, and this is going to be in the new year. Be it so resolved that the public meeting for January will be held on January 17th, 2023. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Hillier, discussion?
And this is just an adjustment where there'll be a staff off through Christmas. It gives the opportunity for staff to prepare for committee meetings. So the committee meetings get pushed forward a week, and therefore our public council meeting will be pushed forward 1 week.
Thank you.
Regular schedule resume in February.
Absolutely. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item 9G is our departmental report.
Excuse me, Deputy Mayor, under the blanket recommendation, there was a discussion on Flats Road. And I believe I declared conflict on that particular item on previous occasions.
Okay. Be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services meetings held on September 26th be accepted as presented, items discussed, capital change orders, municipal assessment update, extreme weather events, NEAR plan, Southwest Coast fundraiser, Flats Road, and social media. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Butler, discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And our last item, which came forward, I talked about earlier in the new business, is 9H, and it's Hurricane Fiona relief support. And we're just going to ratify what we approved in our committee of the whole. Be it so resolved that approval be given for a $5,000 donation to the Canadian Red Cross to support the Hurricane Fiona relief efforts. Funds available in account as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Morris, discussion?
We
All
had,
in-
we had a nice discussion there earlier about Hurricane Fiona, and our council wanted to make a contribution, and the Red Cross was the best place to make it because the federal government matches dollar for dollar. So it's, they're getting it, double what we can, what we are making commitment to.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, exactly. So that's it for me this evening, Mayor Bent. Thank you
All in
very
favor?
much. Oh,
Contrary minded? Carried.
now I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Christine Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a couple of recommendations before the blanket, so I'll start with the first one, and that's 10A, Business Tax Incentive Program. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that Newlander Meat Shop located at 251 Conception Bay Highway be accepted into the Business Tax Incentive Program. So moved.
Seconder,
Excuse me. I'm going to have to declare conflict on this because this is owned partially by my niece, or maybe owned partially by my niece. I'm not sure.
yeah,
So under the new guidelines, although niece is not listed, we have to declare conflict.
you have a close personal contact with your niece. A relationship. New rules. I'm not sure where we are, so do we,
Well, so moved.
seconder, Councillor Hardy,
And
discussion?
yes, your worship. An application submitted under the Business Tax Incentive Policy for a 3-year reduction on business taxes was reviewed at our committee meeting last week. The committee was delighted to see another new, unique, locally owned and operated business.
That was my fault,
Oh.
Councillor Butler, sorry.
The committee was delighted to see another new, unique, locally owned and operated business opening in the downtown core, which will provide the community with local handcrafted specialty meat products.
All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Recommendation 10B. Long Pond Harbor Authority, Inc. Board Appointments. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval be given to appoint Christopher Drodge to the Long Pond Harbor Authority Board of Directors as the Recreation Advisor for a 4-year term commencing October 6th, 2022, as per the LPHA bylaws. And further, be it so resolved that approval be given to appoint John Brophy to the Long Pond Harbor Authority Board of Directors as the Business Advisor for a 4-year term commencing October 6th, 2020, as per the LPHA bylaws. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Morris, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship. Earlier this year, the town issued a call for expressions of interest for individuals to apply for 2 board positions that became available through the expiration of terms for both the business and recreational advisors. These 2 positions are required to be appointed by the town. At the request of council, staff met with each of the interested parties and noted that all candidates were keenly interested in the economic development and long-term sustainability of the port. Captain Christopher Drodge is currently the Vice Commodore at the Royal Newfoundland Yacht Club and has extensive professional and volunteer experience in the ocean economy, including selection to join the Oil and Gas Recovery Task Force, and currently leads the Net Zero Project. John Brophy is a collaborative leader with extensive professional experience in the oil and gas industry. His work experience is supplemented by an MBA that specialized in maritime management, a Bachelor of Science, and more than 2 decades of industry training. The committee is thrilled to bring forward these names for council appointment to the Long Pond Harbor Authority Board of Directors.
Any further discussion?
Your worship, just a comment that it's great to see people come forward with these qualifications when you go out looking for members of that board and skills and experiences and so on that these people bring forward. It's great to see.
And lastly, our blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of September 27, 2022 be accepted as presented. And you see a list of the things that were discussed at the committee meeting. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Hillier. Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Counselor Butler. Other committee reports. Does anyone else have anything else they want to report this evening? Yes, Counselor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. The Senior Advisory Committee, we actually met last week and we began to review the age-friendly assessment survey report that was completed for us. So what we're doing right now, we're going into the detail and the guts of the report. And what we're looking to do with that is develop our new goals and objectives. So for the next few months, we're actually going to be meeting bi-weekly to get the momentum going. So we're about halfway through the survey, and hopefully we'll be able to come back with some defined goals and objectives for the Seniors Committee.
That's excellent. Thank you, Counselor Hardy. Anybody else have any other committee reports outside the regular? Okay, well, thank you. Well, our next public council meeting will be October 18th, same place, same time. Before we adjourn, though, I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving weekend. And everyone take care, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Motion for adjournment. So moved by Counselor Hardy, seconded by Counselor Hillier. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you. Good evening.